change. Yes, I could change. Yes, I could change the world. We can change the world.
Awesome. Yeah, feel the love. So magnificent. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Isn't that great? Whoops. So, I don't know about you, but these songs tend to pop up in my mind throughout the week, and isn't that cool? It's so great. And I'm reminded of everyone here and what we're up to. And we are up to something mighty and magnificent. So, friends, today's a special day, and we are celebrating Pride this Sunday. So, June is Pride Month, and I haven't even addressed it yet. Yeah. We've had such a big month. It's been a big and powerful, amazing month, and so we have Pride Sunday here at Awakening Way Spiritual Community today. And so, first, I have a couple of major things that I want to share with you all. The first is that Gina DiGirolamo and BJ DiGirolamo passed their oral panels and are now licensed practitioners. Woo! Yeah. So we'll see them in the rotation here coming soon, probably next month. And that is wonderful. So I'm very happy about that. And I just love these two so much. Good job. It's a day to celebrate. Yeah. And we celebrate you. Yeah. Thank you. Now, as I mentioned, June is Pride Month. So one thing that I love about New Thought and Science of Mind is that we are not exclusive. We're not exclusive. While many faith traditions draw a circle and say to some that they cannot come into that circle, we actually draw our circle wider and invite people in. Got the God bumps. And I love that. That is awakening to the loving heart. Inclusive, right? So we are an inclusive community, and I'm so proud to say that all are welcome here. All are welcome here. You belong here, regardless of your skin color, sexual orientation, religion, or otherwise. You are welcome here. So I'm very grateful for my dear friend Gina. Gina and I have been friends now for 4 years, and I have invited her to come up and share today a little bit about her coming out story. And she's about to get really vulnerable. So do you want to learn a little bit more about Gina? And is it safe for her to come and share? Yeah, right? Let's give Gina some love. Love you.
Thank you, Reverend Elizabeth, for being my friend through a lot. I've gone through a lot since Reverend Elizabeth and I met. And I want to be careful not to get into too many stories and too many details. So I've been asking myself all morning, where do I start? And the practitioner training has taught me, Spirit's going to tell me where to start right now. And I have to say that this weekend has been quite a journey, starting with Friday morning. Friday morning was a blow for a lot of us and a celebration for a lot of people, and I understand that. For me, it was difficult. I was brought to tears when I heard the news about the Supreme Court. And then the day went on, and Friday evening came along, and Paso Robles had its very first ever Gay Pride event that was kind of thrust upon the members that wanted to start it. And that evening, I told BJ, as we were there with just about 150 people or so, I feel like I'm in a time warp. I feel like it's 50 years ago. There's no Roe v. Wade. This is the very first Gay Pride event ever. And everybody here is very brave to be here because a lot of people were frightened from what some of the things that were being said in the community. And yeah, so just a lot on my mind. And then yesterday morning, of course, my practitioner oral exam, I was asked about diversity and what I thought about diversity in a spiritual community and why it's important. And, you know, what Reverend Elizabeth just said is about us being all inclusive, but one of the other things I learned in practitioner studies really was, yeah, we're all one. We're all whole, but we're all absolutely uniquely different. Each and every one of us. Not just my sexual preference, not just my color of my skin, but you. I could say there's a row of white people right here. Each one of you are all very different. And I don't want to overlook that either. So real quick, my coming out story. So I knew I was gay from the time I was 11 years old. I knew inside. I just knew I was different. I was attracted to the girls. I wanted to, play with the boys, play football, and then, kiss the girl. But of course, this was, late 60s, early 70s. There weren't a lot of role models. There were no Will and Grace. There was no, a Modern Family or anything like that. The only thing I saw was Soap. Who remembers the show Soap? There was a character that Billy played, and I was like, I kind of like that character. So anyways, my mother was dealing with mental illness growing up. Our family was under stress while I was a teenager. And I just felt like I can't put another stress on my family. That would be terrible. And this is wrong, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. And I'm just going to have to keep it in. And I'm just going to have to learn, I'm going to date boys, and I'm going to try. And I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. What do girls see with boys? It just doesn't work. I don't understand it. I really want to be with my girlfriends. I want to talk, and I connect with them, and I feel close and comfortable, and I'm attracted to them and all of that stuff. So fast forward to going through college, still dating men, trying to make it work, not enjoying, honestly, physical relationship, but going forward with it so much. And then graduate college, moved to New York City, knew somebody in town who was gay that I knew lived there, did not contact them yet. I was still dating somebody from college. It was a boy that I felt I really loved. It was the first time I felt I loved a male. And I could kind of see myself, well, this might work, So I had moved on to New York. He was in Ohio, at Ohio State still. And I was living with my aunt and uncle, starting off my career. And this is a part of the story I've never said publicly. But I was pregnant. As soon as I got to New York, I found out I was pregnant. And so now there's another thing I'm trying to hold inside. And so I flew home. Not home. I flew to Ohio to a friend's house where my boyfriend met me, and I had an abortion. And I didn't struggle too much with my choice. I knew it just wasn't going to be right. I knew it wouldn't be right for the child. I knew it wouldn't be right for me. And it was just one more thing. If I didn't take care of what was truly inside of me right now, this point in time, I never would. So I went through with it. When I got on the plane to leave Ohio and said goodbye to him, I had this knowing inside I was never going to see him again, ever. And that was the truth. And so through some things that were happening with the family, my aunt and uncle saw that I was still very struggling and attached to my mom's situation, and they suggested I go see a family therapist. So I'm in New York City. I go to this therapist. I see him a couple of times, and now I'm like, maybe I should bring up that thing about feeling attracted to girls. This might be a safe place to do it. And so I did. And I got the best response ever. He was like, well, that's okay. Lots of people feel that way. And I was like, what? He said, yeah. He said, it's normal. And that's all I needed to hear from this person I didn't even know. I needed to hear it was okay. And I'll never forget, I walked out of that office. He was in Midtown Manhattan, if anybody's familiar with New York. I mean, this is the part of the movie where the music's playing, and I'm walking down the street like, yeah, this is all right. I'm okay. And from that moment on, I never looked back. I called my friend who I knew was gay. I started going out and meeting people. I went to my very first gay pride parade that next year, that next spring. I worked on 5th Avenue and 21st Street. So I said, hey, you guys, we could go up to my office. It's on a Sunday. I worked in this cool building that had this big roof line on the 7th floor. And so we were able to like open the window and step out. And I'll never forget looking down 5th Avenue, uptown. And I see this sea of people and this giant gay pride flag being held up. And they're approaching closer, and the energy's building. And all of a sudden, they reach below us. And we went downstairs, and I just entered this sea of love and people. And this is, mid-'80s. This is the height of the AIDS crisis, too. And ACT UP was there, and there was blood-stained hands on the pavement that they would put for, awareness, like you're killing us. And this is the Reagan years, and things aren't being talked about. So it was a empowering time to come out. And ever since then, I just kept looking forward. So I started living my life proudly, and I started feeling lifted, and I realized, I thought about that day in the therapist's office, and it wasn't so much about me being gay, it was really about me being me. And so it's about us being able to express who we truly are, whether you want to be a singer, whether you want to be an artist, whether you want to, move to Arizona and retire. Whatever. It's about what's in our hearts, and our life is short, and we have to live it, and that's what I've been doing. And I know it seems like a dark time right now, but I continue to be strengthened and to fight. And no matter what happens, I have a wonderful wife and a wonderful partner, and we're married. But I don't care. You know what? They could take away my marriage license tomorrow, but it's not going to change my relationship. No way. Because I always believe that God is the one who sanctions it between me and God and my relationship, and that's it. So I could go on, but I know Reverend Elizabeth has a lot to speak about today, and I just feel grateful to be part of this community. I want to thank the Awakening Ways community for welcoming us, me and BJ, and Reverend Elizabeth and all of us, and I just look forward to our future together. So thank you.
Wow. Powerful, huh? Yeah. Oh my goodness. What's that? Yeah, I have to follow that. Well, thank you, Gina, for sharing with us. Such a beautiful story. And I love that you closed us out with saying that it's about us being who we are, right? Whatever we're called to be, to let go of whatever it is that is preventing us from stepping in to our divine purpose, who we came here to be, more of who we came here to be. And sometimes that means letting go of things, like the boyfriend that no longer served her, right? Yeah. Wow. So powerful. And so I also appreciate, Gina, the way that you shared about what happened on the plane and that you had an abortion. And so I feel called to address that elephant in the room because we know it's all sitting here, right? There is feelings around it. Our friends are feeling it, our loved ones. And so we're seeing what's happening. We've watched the news, right? Or we've heard about it. And we just heard about it just now if this is your first time hearing about it. But so in my prayer and in my preparation for today's talk, it was like, well, what can we do? What is ours to do as a spiritual community in order to be a space for healing, in order to be a space for the inclusivity without being drawn into the polarities, because the polarities are what is divisive, pro, con, whatever, whatever the differences are. But as a spiritual community, how can we be cause in the matter of healing? And so there is a ritual that we're going to do together, and I have 3 sections, because one section is going to be focused on women and healing. One section will be focused on the LGBTQIA community and healing, and the other is focused on the Black, Indigenous, people of color and healing around that. So why as a community would we engage in that? This is our way of creating a healing within our community, honoring the voices of all, seeing and hearing each other. And as we do that in our community, it's like a ripple, right? There's a healing that is going to happen on multiple levels in this room today. Are you up for it? Yes. Okay, and Zoomers, you are going to participate too. Are you up for it? Yes.
Messages will start rolling in here.
Yeah, right. How many Zoomers do we have today? Okay, never mind. We'll get the number soon. So, hello, Zoomers. All right, thank you for participating as well. So, in light of all that has transpired in the last few weeks, particularly, we have this powerful opportunity to recognize the unacknowledged pain body. That's the elephant in the room. There is an unacknowledged pain body in our collective space. You feel it when you enter different communities throughout your day, right? And so this is our opportunity to come together, feel and heal, to honor and recognize what no one will say, but everyone feels. So anyone who is uncomfortable in participating in this ritual, I invite you to please feel free to just sit quietly in meditation, holding the space, okay? That's totally okay too. Now, I have 2 volunteers. I need one more volunteer who is a straight person. Yeah. Yes, come on up. And then I have the 2 other volunteers. You can sit right here for right now. And so the first part is going to be facilitated by Delon. So Delon, come on up. Yeah.
So what we'd like for is for all the women in the room to please stand up. There are a lot of you. And if you would, turn and face the nearest other person that's sitting down around you. You could turn and face them. Okay? Yeah. So face each other and get a look at each other. And what we'd like to do is, men, please turn and make eye contact and open your hands toward the women near you if you feel comfortable. And what you're going to do is repeat after me. Say to the women, I see you. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. And just take these words in. Beloved women, I cannot know and do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live your experience. I do not know what it is to be shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored. I do not know what it is to routinely not have my story believed. While I do not know what it is to have these experiences, I do know that I can take responsibility right here and now to create a safe place in this spiritual community to say to you clearly and directly, I see you, I hear you, your voice matters to me. Okay, you can be seated now.
All right, you're up next. Oop. Oh, we need the mic, yeah. Is that turned on? Yep, it's on.
I still have tears from just that experience.
So now you start here.
Will all the people who identify as being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, gender fluid, queer, questioning, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, and androgynous and asexual, please stand if you are comfortable doing so. Okay. Everyone else, please turn to make eye contact and open your hands towards the people near you and repeat after me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Beloved, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, gender fluid, queer, questioning, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, androgynous, and asexual family. I cannot know and do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live in your experience. I do not know what it is to be shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored. I do not know what it is to routinely not have my story believed. While I do not know what it is to have these experiences, I do know that I can take responsibility right here and now to create a safe place in this spiritual community and to say to you clearly and directly, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Thank you, and you may be seated.
Thank you. I'll take that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a deep breath together. And I'll invite Susan up.
Oh my goodness. Will all the Black, Indigenous, and people of color in the room please stand if you feel comfortable? If you are at home, I encourage you to stand as well. Everyone else, please turn to make eye contact and open your hands. Whoa. Open your hands toward the Black, Indigenous, and people of color near you and repeat after me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Beloved Black, Indigenous, and people of color family, I cannot know and do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live your experience. I do not know what it is to be shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored. I do not know what it is to routinely not have my story believed. While I do not know what it is to have these experiences, I do know that I can take responsibility right here and now to create a safe space in this spiritual community and to say to you clearly and directly, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Let's take a deep breath. Thank you. You may be seated.
Wow. So may the vibration of our affirmation and the meditations of our heart move out into the into the wider world, the wild world, and make a difference. Something happened here. Now will everyone please stand? And just look around and repeat after me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. And so it is. All right. Mic drop, she said. Boom. Wow. Thank you, beloveds. Do you feel that shift in energy in this room? The honoring? How sacred. Wow. We are a powerful community. And so it's 10 minutes to 11. So I know Spirit wanted to do this ritual here today. I had another plan. I had this whole awesome talk. So, okay, let Spirit be the guide. It's usually correct. Well, always, let's just say. Yeah. But I do want to just touch on a couple of things before closing, right? Of course. So we're in the norming stage of group development in this community. And this month we have talked about embracing change. And so we made some agreements together to move forward together. And those agreements were no. Let's have that louder. 1, no. Number 2, no. Number 3, no. Yes. Well, let's do that one again. Number 3, no. No complaint, no gossip, no drama, no complaining. Those are our agreements to move forward. And we are moving forward together with a mighty vision, right? Because we remember that we live in a progressive universe, that as we continue to grow as a community together, we know that something is happening, right? That the universe, which is the outpicturing of the intelligence of the presence, is progressive. The universe in which we live is progressive. It's the outpicturing of the presence of love, the presence of spirit, all of us here, right? So we're here on planet Earth. The Earth is circling the sun and the entire solar system right now are revolving around the center of our galaxy, and every heavenly body is in rotation. Every time there's a complete rotation of every single system, the frequency of the heavenly bodies goes up a little bit higher. And so the Earth today is vibrating at a higher frequency than it was 10 years ago. The Awakening Way spiritual community is vibrating at a higher frequency than it was 10 years ago. Each one of us are vibrating at a higher frequency than we were 10 years ago. Everything is progressing is the point of that. So if you're the same person you were 365 days ago, you're not really the same person. You've actually gone backwards because everything else has gone forward, right? So since everything is progressive, it's creating a level of tension. So when things start to progress, there's a tension that creates discomfort. We don't like it. We're uncomfortable in our skin. And that discomfort is our call to grow. That's what that is. That pain is calling us to grow. Total God bumps all over. It's calling us to grow. And if we don't grow, if we place our stake in the ground and say no and resist, then what happens? The spiritual 2x4 comes, right? But we are beyond that. Everyone has something that they're called to transform and change. If we don't take action, if we don't take those next steps, our body temple will betray us, or our emotional body will betray us. Something will happen that makes you say, oh, what's going on here? And so people resist change because it's actually the ego that resists change. Because ego, on an unconscious level, doesn't know the difference between change and annihilation. The ego thinks it's going to be annihilated, and the ego does not want to be annihilated. I don't blame it, right? But as spiritual beings having a human experience, our calling, we are awakened, right? We're here to remind the ego that it's not being annihilated. Everything is changing form. Things are always changing form. Why? Because we live in a progressive universe. And so today I also want to acknowledge this is the Sunday. Is it the fourth Sunday in June? Fourth Sunday in June 2022. On the fourth Sunday in June 2021, there was a retirement party for the founding ministers, Frank and Terry. That was a big day. And I want to say to all of you who were here at that time, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters. I cannot know the pain that you may be feeling from that loss, but I love you, and I see who you are, and it's okay, and you're okay, and we're all okay. Yeah. Wow. I know for some it was surprising that the two ministers were going to retire, and so it was surprising, but they, I think, had been thinking about it for quite some time. They had been thinking about it for a while, and there was like, it's a challenge. It's a big change. Can you imagine? Big change for them also. So it was a tough decision, but they followed their guidance. And then the question I've heard of some folks is that it seemed to happen so fast. And so it may have seemed that way on the outside, but for them, I'm sure it was a long and drawn out choice, And so I want to assure everyone that there's nothing wrong here, that there's nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong when they retired. It was just time. They felt that progression of the universe, and they were called to become who they were here to be in a new way. They were called to change form. So beautiful, right? So I have Maya Angelou's poem that is so relevant. It's always relevant, but I'm going to speak it again here today because it's so powerful. She said, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, say it with me, I rise. And so it is.